Spend a day in the archive with me. The first thing I do in the morning is Google the walking route from my hotel to the archive. I'm working in the Presbyterian Historical Society archive, which is in Philadelphia. I mapped out the route, but then I forgot I had to stop for coffee, so I plugged in a stop for Reading Terminal Market so I could pick up a coffee on the way and drink it as I walk. No food allowed in the archives. So there I get to Reading Market at around just after 8 a.m. and um, find Old City Market, which is my favorite coffee shop, buy a coffee, and then I continue on my walk to the archive, which opens at 9 in the morning. The walk takes around 35 minutes or so, and it walks through the most beautiful parts of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is one of my favorite cities. And then I get to the archives. Kind of feels like a second home to me because I've worked quite a bit in their collections on American nursing and missions in Iran. Here's the building. It's beautiful. They still have some COVID protocols, so I had to ring the buzzer to be let in. You also have to make an appointment in order to be able to work there. I took these screenshots of outside and inside for one of my MSN students. I thought she would be interested in it. Then I find a spot in the room and set up my computer and all my cords. It requires quite a lot of cords because I take photos with my phone and my phone always runs out of space, so I have to constantly download images. Then if I don't know what I already want to look at, I can search for it in the online collection guide. Here, Betty Scarlett was an American nurse who worked in Iran. I hadn't looked at her file before, so I typed in her name, found her file, and recorded the number. Then I entered that onto a call slip so that I could give that to the reference staff, and then they're able to pull that file or that box for me so that I can look at those records. But meanwhile, I already had 2 boxes waiting for me from the day before. You can see they have tons of material. It's impossible for me to get through everything really related to the mission to Iran. But I began going through the folders. I take hundreds and hundreds of photos, not even really reading what I'm looking at, just taking photos as fast as I can so I can explore them when I get home. Here you can see I found a reference to Betty Scarlett, the nurse I previously mentioned. She was having some kind of issue and she was upset. Being a historian's like a detective. I don't really know what she was upset about yet, but there was something going on and she wanted to speak to someone high up about her work within the nursing schools in Iran. So something was going on, and now I've got to try and piece out what it was, because that's what I'll end up writing about, some of the internal politics that were going on between the different nursing schools. Then I found this really cool reference where Estella Chambers, one of the nurses who set up nursing schools in Iran, talks about how she wants funding for Iranian graduate nurses so that they can receive specialized training in either the UK, AUB, or the US. And there's some names of them. And you can see there's some quote where it says that she believes that they're going to be future national directors for nursing schools in the country. And part of the argument I make in my book is that American nurses were really proselytizing for nursing professionalism, not so much missions. Then after spending all day there, it's really backbreaking work. I'm honestly being serious. It gets quite challenging. Then I walked home, and then when I get home, I sort through all the files because I need to make sure that the photos that I took are correctly allocated to the file so that when I go to reference them, I can correctly cite whatever document I'm working from and I know exactly where it's from in all those boxes. And that is spending a day with me in the archive.